Gearing up for a full night of racing this Friday night here at the Stafford Motor Speedway in Bonssa Tufa. It is officially summer, and it feels like it.
Yeah, it's been really hot this past week. Temperatures in the 90s. It probably feels like over 100, but that's when you know we're in the middle of the season. The weekly grind takes its toll, although not much has gone on the last couple weeks. Hopefully that changes, but yeah, now it's going to be a real test for these teams as it gets hotter, the patience thins out, things get a little bit more difficult on track, behind the scenes. Everyone's just getting more weary over time. It's who can overcome the strain of weekly racing the most that'll come out on top, and we're going to start seeing that in these next couple weeks.
We last raced 2 weeks ago before the rain came. Last Friday night also rained out thanks to Mother Nature. Let's kind of button up 2 weeks ago. Two fairly new names to Victory Lane. It had been a while since Jason Lafayette visited Napa Victory Lane, and a brand new name in Connor Jensick.
Let's start with Jason Lafayette. He hadn't won since 2020 until last event. I can't say last Friday, but he was up front for most of the season. He was battling for the lead the week before his win when he got spun out in turns 3 and 4 battling Travis Haidar. Comes back, gets the victory. Yeah, it was rain shortened, but hey, a win's a win. He was up there the whole time for a reason. He was fast. That's a big win for that 21 team. Connor Jensick, I don't know how many people would have predicted him getting a win this quickly, but he was up front, and he stayed up front, and he had a bunch of contenders behind him, and he had to hold off Gary Patino in the last few laps to get the win. He's our, 691st different winner at Stafford? It's incredible. 2 Jensicks in Victory Lane this year, Devin and Connor. Good for Connor because he struggled in the first part of the season, dealing with mechanical problems. The car wouldn't start and whatnot. The car got going, and when it got going, it was going really good. Let's see if they can keep that up in the weeks to come. That was a big window for that 9 team.
The program will also feature the resumption of the Casella Waste Open 80, a race that Woody Pitcat was leading when the rain started to fall on lap 5.
How many hours has he been leading that event?
It'll be 327-ish.
That's a lot of hours. Yeah, Woody led the first 5 laps before the rains came. It was a pretty frantic battle. It was him, Anthony Bello, Teddy Hodgson, Mike Christopher Jr. They were going at it before that first caution came out for that pileup in turn 2. Woody Pitcat's looking for a 7th open modified win, the first in this 8 car, which we saw in the Sizzler. He started, I think, 15th in the Sizzler, finished 3rd. So they found the speed in that car, and it showed in the first 5 laps. We'll see if he can hold off some of the top contenders in the modifieds to get another victory at Stafford.
The late models and the SK Lights will be on hand, and after the first 5 weeks of the season, probably needed a little bit of a break to kind of put things back together for a lot of the teams that have had issues.
It's a good reset, I guess you can say. It has been a little bit rough, especially the most recent race. There were a couple big pileups, so some teams needed that extra time to repair their cars. But the competition is still fierce. We talked about Tyler Chapman a lot, winning the first 3 races of the year. But we saw Nick Hovey, our most recent winner in the SK Light Modifieds, holding off Tyler Chapman in a frantic battle to the end. Hovey got his first points-paying win, but there's still a lot of drivers in that field looking for Victory Lane, like Amanda West, like Alex Pearl. Sammy Anderson had a podium recently. She's looking to get back up there. Robert Bloxham III has had 3 straight top 10s, including a 4th-place finish. He's been under the radar, but he's had some speed. Same with Chris Vians in the 12 car. He's had 4 straight top 10 finishes. So there are some teams that we're used to seeing up front, but some new ones coming in there that might be a problem for the top contenders in the weeks to come. You mentioned the late models. Kevin Gambacorta, point leader, finished podium every week so far, but Paul Verrecchio Jr. has been right there with him, maybe a little bit behind, but not the last event. He got his first late model win. Those two have been dominant this year, but I still say you got to keep an eye on guys like Wayne Corey Jr., Daryl Keene, 2 guys who have shown decent speed but have not had the luck. Wayne Corey Jr. was going to battle for the win the last late model feature when he had a mechanical problem and had to pit under green. That car is fast. They just need to finish all 30 laps. That field is tight. Cliff Saunders, he's been top 5 every start. He missed 1 event this season, and he's still top 10 in points. That's how good he's been. His twin brother, Al. We can go on. That field is tight, but right now it's the 23 and 39 versus everybody else. We'll see if that changes here coming up.
Every year, the Premier Division here on Friday nights, the SK Modifieds have some premier events. This Friday night is one of them, the Call Before You Dig Senators Cup. 50 laps and a pretty special trophy awarded to the winner at the end of the night.
It's a big SK modified race. Last year, we saw Mike Christopher Jr. get the win, making him the first driver to win the Senators Cup, TC13, and SK5K. There are a couple drivers that might pull that off in the future, but it's going to be a good one. The SKs have been thrilling all year long. They put on an incredible show. Every finish, every win has come down to the last 10 laps or less. It's been fun to watch. A lot of good drivers out there. Marcello Refrano is our most recent winner. Corey DiMatteo won 3 in a row. Troy Talman won the opener, but you still have Keith Rocco. You still got Todd Owen. Anthony Flannery finished second in the last event. That's his best SK finish. As I've mentioned before, Mike Christopher Jr. Dylan Kopech had a solid top 10 run in his last event. George Bissett Jr., and we can go on, etc., etc. It's a tough field of cars, and it's just been frantic from the get-go in week 1. It's not going to change this week for the Senators Cup.
And it's going to be this Friday night. Hopefully, Mother Nature cooperates and we get back on track. It's going to be a full night of racing, all 5 weekly divisions, including the Call Before You Dig Senators Cup for the SK Modifieds and the resumption of the Casella Waste Open 80 for the Open Modifieds. It all begins just after 6 o'clock here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. And if you can't be here, you can always tune us in on Flow Racing.